From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, I got my impressions of the Onimusha 2 remaster. Plus, gonna count down my most anticipated release games for the Switch 2, which is gonna be out in a week from now.
It's crazy to think that it's only a week away. I wore my rouge today to discuss my favorite roguelikes on Switch 1.
The bat.
Yeah.
From Sonic.
I every time I see the word roguelike, I always think rouge-like, and it's always,
yeah, Rouge the Bat.
So similar.
She's going to be in the movie by Sonic 4 or something.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know. I think she'll be in there eventually.
Hell yeah.
They got to bring everybody in there. They bring Big the Cat in there. Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 473. Your place here, Nintendo fans. Still highly anticipating the Switch 2, which is coming out next week. And we are your hosts. I'm Trey. No ambition for you, Nobunaga Johnson.
I'm Jeremy. Damn the glitches. This game haunts my dreams. Mikowski.
And our third host, John, is not here tonight. He had a family emergency, and we just wanted to say that we've said it on the Slack already, but we send our love and cares and thoughts and all that to you and your family. And we'll talk to you next week.
You are here with us in outline form.
Yeah, so he had some stuff that he had to do. So I don't want to get into it, but yeah, we send our best to you and all that, and we will carry on without you. And
Amen.
Our plan was to record early next week before the Switch stuff, because John's going to be camping out for like 48 hours or something like that, or 24 hours, whatever. So we can try to get that out of the way, so both of us can do whatever we have to do to go get our Switches in midweek, and then we'll come back. Episode 475 will be our big Switch 2 episode. So that'll be what's happening. So stay tuned, or please be excited for that, for all that stuff. Well, yeah, why don't we start off the show as we normally do and talk about games that we got and games that we've been playing. I could have said a little. I do have like a super, interesting tidbit about an EA game that's
tell us.
That was,
because you can now talk about it.
Yeah, see, I'll talk about it later and the news stuff, but I could have said it on the beginning.
That's some juicy stuff.
I have juicy information about an EA game that was canceled that I don't know how many people actually know stuff about it, but I do, because I bared witness to it. But now I can talk about it because it's been canceled. But I beat the Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Part 2, finally. I beat all the games. Last week, I had not gotten through... I had not gotten through Project Justice or Power Stone, but I got through both of those. I got through Project Justice first while I was editing the podcast. It gets pretty hard towards the end, and it totally gets weirdly Dragon Ball, like out of nowhere. Like, it's definitely like, this is my final form, and I have giant hair and swords for some reason, even though this has nothing to do with school. There's a really weird boss at the end that just keeps coming at you, and it's pretty fucking ruthless, but you gotta be, you gotta not give up. You gotta be very much on the offense. If you hang back too much, they're just gonna rip you apart, so. But I got through that one, it wasn't that bad. And then I went back, I was like, alright, I gotta get through Power Stone, which Power Stone is probably like my least favorite game on this collection so far. Not really that much of a fan of it. Because it's like, I kinda wish I could play it like the pros in Smash Brothers do. I wish we could take all the items off. I think it'd be a lot more fun if you got rid of the power gems or the power stones in Power Stone, because it's really just a fucking race to who gets the 3 power stones first, and turns into like your ultimate version of yourself, and then you can fucking one hit KO somebody if you do it in the right way. If you do like a throw move or whatever, you can like suplex your way you can just knock them right out right then, and it's like really fucking annoying. And the farther you get in the game, the quicker the computer gets to the stones before you do, and they know exactly where they are, and they just run straight to them, and it's like, what the fuck, man? But I got all the way to Valgus, which is like the second to last boss of the game. Valgus is super fucking hard, very annoying, and I could not beat him like once, and you have to beat him twice. You got to beat him 2 rounds, to get to the end. And I just could not do it. So I just went on YouTube, and I was like, I searched, I was like, how do you beat Valgus? Like, how do you beat Valgus on Power Stone? Like, I'm getting so annoyed getting destroyed by this guy. I need to know. And I actually had to switch back to a normal controller just because just the way the game is, it's so fucking frantic that it's really hard. And it's like a 3D space, and using the leverless on the 3D space is different, so I had to just use a regular controller, which got me farther, I guess. But like I said last week, it's a fighting game for people who don't play fighting games or don't like fighting games, I guess. But I looked online. I was trying to figure out, like, there's like, here you can. I found out different ways to dodge him. Like, he'll always get his super armor, but when he gets the super armor, he'll do this jump move where he throws these whatever energy balls at you, and if you stand closer to him, they won't hit you. And if you if you walk away, they chase you. They home in on you. But if you stand under him and he jumps, you can they will like go away and they won't hit you. So I got that to work for a little bit, but I was still getting killed. And then I watched a video, and it was somebody just destroying Valgus with Valgus, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna if you can't beat him, join him, right? So I decided to, and all the secret characters are unlocked in all of the games on Fighting Collection, which is great. That's been all the Capcom collections have been like that, where any of the special bosses or whatever, you can use them. You don't have to unlock them. So you can play the two main bosses in this game. So I was like, all right, I'll just fucking play as Valgus. So I did, and I just kind of got relentless with it. And whenever you get your full like armor up, you can just shoot like lasers out of your face at the guy, and then I just kept doing that over and over again. I finally beat him. But there's another part after that. Valgus basically gets the Power Stone, the ultimate part of Power Stone, and then he turns into this giant fucking blob, this like giant demon blob thing or whatever. And the game gets way fucking easier because he can't move anymore. Now he's just a big blob that's in the middle of the room, and he just like throws missiles and shit at you. And you can dodge those pretty easily.
Should we talk about the blob in the room?
Yes. But yeah, he like gets the Power Stone, and the Power Stone mutates him, and he becomes this big like pile of dirt or whatever. And you beat him. And I got through and I beat the game with Valgus, and I'm like, and I quick saved it, right before that, and I was like, you know what? I could just go back and I could just die every time and just pick a different character, and I can just go through and beat it with all the characters. And there's not that many characters. There's maybe like 10 or 12 or something like that. So that's what I did. I like went back and I died, and then I like quick saved it like when I was at the character select. So I just go back and pick a different guy, and then I go and get my power, like get my super armor or whatever, and use it on the bad guy. And then I just kind of just stand in the goo and just keep hitting them and you only got to knock them down once too. You don't have to do 2 rounds. And I went through and I beat the game with every character. So I got all of the achievements in the game for Power Stone. So now I never have to play it again, ever. To away with that game. No, I would try it if I played like a human being character and not like a super cheating AI computer. But if we had like we were playing like 4-player, I don't know if you can do 4-player on 1, but I know you can on 2. I would try it like that because kind of the randomness would work a little bit better, I think, with another person. But yeah, playing with the computer is just not fun. And there's only like, there's not really like moves or whatever, like most fighting games. You just punch and kick, and there's a throw button, and that's it. But I got through it. I got through with all of the characters, and I beat that dumb goo puddle over and over again. And that's what I did on, I don't know what night that was. Saturday night, maybe? Of the Memorial Day weekend. It was one of those nights where I went through and I just got all the Power Stone endings, and it was cool. And the endings are pretty funny. There's like one that's like really not, that's kind of problematic, that hasn't like aged well at all. Like one of the lady characters, she's like what do you call it? She's like a psychic, and she, and like her power, like everybody, when you get a Power Stone, you get a special power, and it shows like what your ending is. Like you get whatever your wishes are, and she wanted her like her customers to have their wishes fulfilled. That she like uses her psychic powers on, and what her customers wanted was to see her naked, and that's what they see, and she gets embarrassed, and that's the end of the game. And I was like, wow, okay, this hasn't aged very well. So it's got some of that weird, not great Japanese humor of the 90s or early 2000s or whatever. So that one was kind of funny. There's one like for the main character, like he gets the stone, but then like the temple collapses around him and his dad shows up and saves him, and he's like so pissed because he didn't get the stone. He's so mad at his dad for saving him. He'd rather like die in there with the stone. And that's his ending. But there's all sorts of like silly endings like that, But it was fun to see them all. At least I can get some enjoyment from it on that. And I had it turned down to like the easiest difficulty too, and I still felt the game was really cheap. So I mean, whatever. But I mean, I like this collection a lot. I mean, I highly recommended it last week, obviously. And what's cool about it is I had only played like 2 of the games on there, so like most of the games were really new to me. I mean, I'd only played Capcom vs. SNK 2, and the version I played the most of, the GameCube one, is even different than the one that's on this collection. So that one's still like fairly new to me, with the new ratios and all that. Oh yeah, and I did that when we were talking to Shake last week. I didn't understand the way the ratios work. You can pick up to 4 characters, and the ratios will change, I guess, depending on that. But you can pick one character and make them like a ratio 4 character, and they're super strong. So like I just went through. I just blew through the arcade with a bunch of different people, like ratio 4 levels, which is really fun. Like I did like ratio 4 Zangief and like Blanca and like Haomaru, because he's like one of the strongest characters in the game. And you can really like, if you do ratio 4, you got like super high damage and all that, and you can just blow through the game, and it's fun as hell. Like I did it with like Bison and Ken and Ryu and like Shinakuma and like all the different characters that I like, and it was cool to just be like, oh yeah, I did it with Dan too, with like one of the weakest characters, do a ratio 4 Dan all the way through. But yeah, you just pick one character, but you're just super overpowered, and I like.
Is Dan the one that's got the really like ridiculous drop in Puzzle Fighters?
Yeah, Dan is actually he's actually a jab at the SNK series. I think he's supposed to be a jab at the main character from Art of Fighting,
Okay,
Ryu or Kyo or whatever his name is, because he's making fun of him because he can only throw the fireball so far, and that's why Dan can only throw it like a couple inches in front of him. That's a direct reference to the Art of Fighting character. So that was kind of like them poking fun at SNK. But then they did like these incredible crossover games, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's I guess the Mr. Karate character from the SNK versus Capcom game is supposed to be a jab on Capcom as well, but I don't remember exactly what character he's making fun of.
I mean, if you're going to do anything, you're going to take jabs at other fighting games, right?
Exactly, yeah. It fits within the world. But yeah, Dan was supposed to make fun of the main guy from Art of Fighting, which he does have a really stupid Hadoken that doesn't go very far. But he has this giant ass Hadoken that you can do, but it's really hard to do, and you have to do it perfect to earn it in the game. Like I played through Art of Fighting on Super Nintendo when I was really young, and thought it was cool. And I have I bought the arcade game later on Switch, and the computer players are really annoying on there too, where I feel like they can read every move you do. It's really hard to do anything and not get your ass beat. But yeah, I beat a game. I beat Capcom Fighting Collection 2. It's still awesome. And I did get what was it? I mean, I got kind of a response to last week's episode. Well, from Shake, who was already on the show, but he did say he texted me right after, and he said
it's an addendum.
Well, he had played, because he hadn't played Capcom versus SNK 1 before, and he did after we recorded. And he said, I forgot how gorgeous the pixel art was in CVS 1. It's amazing. Which, yeah, that's what I said. And we also got a comment from Joel, who listened to our episode, said, hey, Trey, I just heard on the podcast you got Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Got to do some sparring sometime. So I said, yes, I would love to play him online, but I've really not been available because of company over the weekend. And also my 5-day work week has become a 7-day work week now, so it's pretty busy. So
does that equal more money, I hope?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it was going to be 5 days, and then it was going to be 4 days, but then it went to 7 days. So it's kind of like they just added another show on there. So that's fine. But there's no break in between. It's like one after another after another. Damn. So I'm pretty much working every day until next Tuesday. So fun.
If only there was something happening next week where you could just kick back and relax for a bit.
Yeah, whenever I was done working, which I should be done on the 2nd, I was planning on, taking the week off to get the Switch 2 and all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
Probably, I'll definitely do some stream stuff of it. But with the money that John got me for my birthday, thanks, John, I got Onimusha 2, the remaster, which came out on Switch, which I was really happy about because I don't remember how long it was, like 5-6 years ago, when Onimusha 1, the remaster, came out on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I played through that game in a day. Like, it wasn't very long.
You loved it. You talked.
It was fun, yeah. I mean, it's like I was trying to describe it to Jess.
It's like kind of like Resident Evil, right?
To Jess and Casey over the weekend.
It's got like
I called it.
controls.
Yeah, I called it a. I said it was like it's kind of like a Japanese horror movie, or Japanese horror game that took place in feudal times, and it's kind of like a samurai Resident Evil is what I said. And yeah, it has fixed camera angles like the Resident Evil movies or the Resident Evil games did. But it takes place in feudal times, and you fight Japanese folklore demons that look really crazy looking and all that.
So they keep that same like sort of control scheme in 2?
They do, yeah. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't feel as like slow and tanky as like Resident Evil does, though. Like you move a lot quicker, and I would hope so. And it is like a lot more actiony, Like it does kind of feel like a little bit more like an action survival horror or whatever. And the second one has like small RPG like parts to it, where you can upgrade stuff and all that. But it's very small RPG shit. It's RPG elements. Is what I was trying to think of. Because it actually reminded me of God of War, of the original God of War game, where like you destroy people and you'd get these like blood pellets, and you could use the blood to like up your attack and stuff like that. It kind of works like that. So every time you kill a demon, you can suck their soul points or whatever, and you save the soul points, and you can use those to like upgrade your weapons and your like armor and whatnot. But you also have like a party with you, kind of. You have like a team of like 4 other people actually, that join you. Well, I mean, you don't really control them, but they'll fight with you, and they'll help you fight like within the game, within the worlds and whatnot.
Are they like a assist trophy kind of thing, or like how do they work?
I mean, they're part of the game. Like you meet them as characters, and you'll like go to like a lot. As of right now, I've been fighting in this mine a lot. There's this mine that you go to that's haunted by demons or whatever. And when you get to the mine, they're there too. Like they'll be in whatever room you need to go to, and they will just also fight the characters that you're fighting. But you don't control them. They're just helping you. You know what I mean? But you can give them gifts that can actually, like you can buy them armor and stuff, and you can actually upgrade their armor and make their attacks, give their attacks more damage and all that stuff. But if you buy them like specific things, they'll give you like secret stuff as well. So you buy them like really nice armor. And I found like a spreadsheet that somebody made online that just showed all the items and like who likes them the best, so you could see like, because there's different, they don't really tell you what people like, but it's like if you give them an item that they really like, there's a better chance that they'll give you a more rare item. And you can also get gifts from them for giving them gifts that you can give to the other characters and get other items from there. And you do get like stuff that'll up your like HP and your magic points and stuff like that. So it is important to give them the right gifts, to have them return, to give you the right items to help max out your score and all that. But I mean, I've been enjoying it a lot. I've only got a chance to play like 4 or 5 hours of it so far, but it's fun. I mean, it's exactly what I want from what I expected. It's kind of cheesy. It's kind of fun. The opening is really fucking brutal. Like it's just like this whole town just getting destroyed by demons, like at the very beginning, and it's fucking gruesome as hell. And I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, there's a major downer. Just seeing this whole family and like all of their children and everything just like getting completely slaughtered, like in the beginning of the game, and it's pretty fucking graphic with it too. I'm like, all right, oh wow, okay. And I saw a name I recognized on there, Keiji Inafune. He's in the credits. He was a producer on both of the Onimusha, I think all of them. But yeah, I saw him on there. I was like, I know that guy. But yeah, it turns out, as I was saying earlier, as the ambition stopper, the bad guy is Nobunaga, is fucking Nobunaga from Nobunaga's Ambition,
You have to stop his ambitions.
Yeah, you gotta
I get it.
You gotta kill him. I guess he died in the last game, and he's come back as a demon lord or whatever. But you have to kill Nobunaga. I thought he was like the hero. Isn't he like the heroic emperor or whatever of Japan? But yeah, you gotta take him down. That is your point. You talk about it many times. That you gotta stop fucking Nobunaga. And I was like, is that the same guy? And yep, it is the same guy. Well, it's the same name, I guess. I don't know.
Historically.
Because there's a fucking Nobunaga's Ambition game coming to Switch 2 as a launch title. He's still out there. But yeah, you got to kill that fucker. You got to take him down.
That guy's ambitious.
Yeah, you got to take him down and stop his ambition. So yeah, that's that's what I was doing.
He will not be constrained by this generation of hardware.
Exactly. But you get it reminds me like Resident Evil. Like Resident Evil 4. When you beat it, you got like extra stuff you could play at the end, like you could play like whatever face is. What's the one lady that's on there? That's
Ada Wong.
Yeah, you get to play like Ada's side story, Misconnections or whatever it was called. It was something.
It's called Craigslist Misconnections.
No, it's what is that song? What's the Journey song? It's got the same name as it. The one
Separate Ways.
Separate Ways. Yeah. Ada Wong Separate Ways. Yeah, that was like a bonus game in the GameCube one. I actually played it on there, but yeah, like where you beat the game, you get to do all this extra stuff. But in this version, in the remaster, everything is unlocked from the beginning, so you can go and play the weird shit if you want. Like I played I forget it was called like the man with the glasses or something like that, and he's wearing like he's kind of wearing like an old timey suit and like black sunglasses, and and you only have a wooden katana, like you can't kill anybody, and you have to go through the whole game just by knocking people out, and you have to go really quickly. And I had not played the game yet, but I was like, oh, what's this? I'll try this out. But yeah, there's like these little mini games of sorts where it's like extra stuff, that you got at the end of the game, but you can just start at the beginning, which is pretty cool. There's like special costumes that you can put on. Like I did the same. Like I started with the special costume, and he's wearing this leather onesie with all these zippers on it and like sunglasses, and I'm like, I got to start over. I can't take this seriously like this because I can't see his face. I can't see his like eye expressions or whatever through the sunglasses.
Out like a gimp in the sun.
So I had to like start over again because I was like, oh no, I need to see it like in the regular outfit. I can't deal with this weird leather shit. So yeah.
It was of the times. Everything was made out of animal materials back when this game was made.
I mean, like, Resident Evil, like the remake of Resident Evil on GameCube, like, I played through it multiple times and got the different outfits, and, I liked playing it with the weird outfits, but, you got to at least play through it with the regular outfits, I think, first, right?
I mean, that's the way it was back then, but these, like, these expanded or whatever, these legacy editions, giving you all the stuff up front, it's kind of nice. A lot of the people that are going to buy this have played through this multiple times, and that's probably the idea.
Yeah, if you've already beat it, it's nice that it's already there.
I do like that, I still have to unlock stuff if I play Resident Evil 4, because goddamn, I've played that game so many times.
Because like the Yakuza games, they have different outfits, but you got to beat the game, then play it on New Game Plus to get them. I always wish that they should just let you have them up front, like especially for like Kiwami or whatever. It's like I've played like Kiryu in this fucking suit, like so many hours of this. Just let me just put a different suit on. It's like,
let me wear a zoot suit.
Let me wear anything else other than that fucking gray suit that he wears all the time. So, I mean, I definitely felt it with that game. I was like, man, I want a different, and you even get like different outfits, but you can't wear them until you beat the game. Like they give them to you as like a bonus or whatever for buying the game, but it's like, can't use them until you get through like the 100-hour game or whatever. So it's like, what the fuck? And the whole game is in English. It's all in spoken English, which is kind of weird, but you get used to it. But I could not figure out a way to change it to spoken Japanese, to like audio Japanese. Like I could change it to Japanese and it would just turn all the font into Japanese, but it wouldn't change the language.
Have you looked into like the original game? Like, is there something about it where it was in English or?
I don't know. I mean, I figured the original one probably was recorded in English in the PlayStation 2, but it's so Japanese that it feels like there should be like a Japanese audio track on there, and I would like to play it through that if I could, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I just played through it in English. And the voice acting is good on it, and the characters are funny, and they have like, they have silly catchphrases and all that. And there's all sorts of weird stuff in that too. Like there's this one guy, this one dude on your team that's kind of a creep, and that's his thing, I guess. It's getting drunk and hitting on women or whatever. So So you get some of that, but he's silly. But yeah, it's a fun game. I recommend it. I think it's like $30. But
And you finished it.
I haven't finished Onimusha 2 yet.
Oh wait, you didn't finish.
I finished 1, but I want to. Whenever I have enough time to, I'd love to. I wanted to play through it by this week, but I did not have time. And there was a 5-hour pay-per-view that I had to watch that took up all of that time on Sunday. But it was good, damn it. It's one of the best ones they've done in a long time. But yeah, I was a little busy. We had company over for Memorial Day weekend and hadn't had a whole lot of time to just kick back and play games. And now I'm constantly working, so, and I'm here for this show. But I did get enough time to watch the Good Vibes Gaming did like a tier list of like the games getting released for Switch, and I was like, oh, we should do something like that. So I threw together my just top 10 list, and I based it on probability of like when I will of whether I'll purchase it or not, I guess is how I did it. And there's more games of this. I just made a 10, and I think there's like 15, 16 games or whatever coming out. But I just did the ones that I think are the most interesting, and I ranked them. And I guess I could go here from 1. I'll start from the top. I'll go from 1 to 10. How about that? So, of course, number 1 is Mario Kart World because I already purchased it because it came with the system. So I didn't have to pay $80 for it. That's one I'm already getting, so I already paid for it. I already have it, so that's on my top 1. Of course, number 2 is Street Fighter 6. I'm very excited to play that.
There's no Street Fighter 2 like Street Fighter 6.
That's true. Street Fighter 6 is awesome. No, yeah, I'm very excited about playing the bonus characters because I only fucked around a little bit with. I think I just played Akuma on there, but you could rent them. You could rent them on the PS4 version. I don't know if you could do that on this, but I haven't really, like Terry's on there and Mai's on there and Bison, who's called the Dictator now because they wanted to make a name that was the same in Japan and America. But I just wanted to play with all the different characters in there. And there's been some news about that people aren't so happy about. If you buy the physical version of it, the DLC characters is a code. So you can't like resell it to somebody. If you resell it to somebody, it won't have the characters on there because it's a download code. So people are kind of... And it's not on the game either. It's, it's a key card and all that. So I don't know. I don't care. I play digital only, so it doesn't matter to me. But a lot of people seem to be upset about it. Number 3, Bravely Default HD, Flying Fairy Remix, whatever it's called. I'm getting that. That one's $40. That's a great price for that. I love that it's the same price as it was when it originally came out for 3DS. I think that's great. Like, well, I don't know, 10 years later, however old it is, still $40 in the year of 2025 when games are $80.
I mean, I think it's really smart because 2 was such a hit. Like
2 was awesome. I played through.
Like a sleeper hit.
I got the first credits on 2. Mm-hmm. I still. It got really hard after that. That's kind of why I gave up on it because it had definitely like spiked. The difficulty spiked a lot after the first credits. But I did make it to the first credits, and I liked the game a lot. I really liked all the different classes, and I played a good amount of Bravely Default on 3DS. I just never. I never got through it. I think I spent a lot of time on the demo. Because the demo, you could do all the like street pass where you had all the characters building your town and all that, and I loved it. And I feel like I played the demo so much that when the game came out, I was kind of tired of the game because I had put so much time into the demo before that.
I kind of feel the same way
because I had put like fucking like 20 hours into it at least. I think like on the demo before it had actually got to the game. So, but I mean, I really liked the second one, so I'm willing to give it another go. And it's only $40, and I want to get another Switch 2 game, so why not?
At least it wasn't Octopath Traveler.
It's true, yeah. I have Octopath Traveler too. I really like that game. I'd like to get through that one someday. I mean, I didn't play that much of it, but I really liked what I played. Number 4 is Fast Fusion, which I'm definitely getting because it's only $15.
That's the RMX, right?
That's the sequel to Fast RMX, yeah. There's 4 of them. This is the 4th game in the series. So there's there was one on Wii, there was one on Wii U, there's one on Switch, and now there's one on Switch too. And it's only $15.
We played the one we played the original, well, the Switch version. We played that at the event, so that was pretty cool that we got to experience it then. And
I did buy it for Switch 1 because I bought Breath of the Wild for Wii U, and I wanted a game to play on my Switch because I wasn't really playing it at all. So I got Fast Fusion RMX. I re-downloaded it to try it again, and I haven't got to it yet, but I remember that it actually has levels from F-Zero GX in it. Like it has like Firefield is in there in its entirety. Like it's exactly the same as it is in F-Zero GX. And that blew my mind. I remember playing that on Switch when I was like, wait a second. That's the same level. That's the same race as F-Zero. And I was like, is this real? Is this real? And I looked it up online. It's like, yeah, it's the same fucking race. And I was
Later on, Big Blue would be in Mario Kart.
It's like nobody said it. But the Big Blue on Mario Kart is different than the Big Blue from like X or GX.
It's completely different.
But this is the exact same race. Like it is the same. Like there's nothing that's different. I mean, it looks different, but it's the same exact race. And I was like, what the fuck? But I guess they got this one, Fast Fusion. I heard that they got some actors from F-Zero GX to be in there, like voice actors. So I'm like, that's cool. Awesome. Why not? Let's do it. So that's my number 4. Number 5, Fortnite. This one can actually be higher because it's free. You don't got to pay anything for it. You just get Fortnite for free.
Unless you want those V-Bucks.
Yeah, I do. I am really interested to see how well Fortnite runs on there. It's supposed to run 120 FPS. You're supposed to be able to use mouse controls on there too, if you want to. So they are actually,
that could be really cool.
They are actually, embracing the new Switch capabilities and all that stuff. So Fortnite actually may be a real good one. And it's funny because I actually spent money on Fortnite and I bought like the Battle Pass or whatever, and I still haven't played it for like 2 months. I knew that was going to happen. I knew right when I bought the Battle Pass, I was just not going to be able to play it because
I'll get you.
Because I'll be
like
out.
When you buy a gym membership and then you never go.
Yeah, because I'll be out of town or something. That's pretty much what happened. I bought it like in April, and it went up in May, and it's almost June now, and it's like, and I think I played it for like 1 week with the Battle Pass, and now it's gone. But whatever. But at least I got my Ghost Rider skin still. Hopefully that looks better on there.
I mean, does he have skin? Didn't it all burn off?
It did, but terms. But I mean, it looks like shit on Switch 1, so I can't wait to play it on a better system on Switch 2 because it does not look great. And as far as like my 6 and 7, they're kind of like tied, pretty much. I thought I kind of do want to get another one. Like I'm definitely getting all those first 5 ones for sure. Mm-hmm. But I'm really interested in the new Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. Apparently, you can date multiple people across different timelines. I mean, that's not why I'm interested in it, but I just saw that as a news item. I just think that's funny.
I've heard it doesn't count if it's a different zip code, but a different timeline?
Yeah, if you're like in a different era, then why not? You'll never know. But I always thought the game looked really cool, like to begin with, because, it was Rune Factory, but more open world, plenty of tall grass or whatever, kind of Breath of the Wild looking. But, I mean, there's been like no like, I've only saw people play played like Steam demos, and that's it. I haven't really heard a whole lot about how the Switch 2 one runs, but I like what Marvelous is doing. They're putting their full games on the Switch carts, like there's no key cards. They're releasing a $60 version for Switch 1 with a $10 upgrade for Switch 2. Like it's all kind of right out there. Like I don't feel like they're hiding anything from anybody. And all of their games that they're doing has the full game on the cards. So it's like they're upfront about it. They're like, hey, we're not doing the key cards. We're putting the games on the cartridges. You're getting what you want and all that. So I respect that about them. And I am a little interested in Cyberpunk 2077 because you talked it up a whole bunch. I just kind of want to see what the ultimate review comes for both of those games.
Yeah.
I'm definitely leaning more towards Rune Factory than Cyberpunk, but if for some reason
seems more your speed.
If some reason Rune Factory ends up being complete ass for some reason, then maybe I'll get Cyberpunk. But I also kind of just don't want to pay $70 for Cyberpunk because it's an old game, and $70. It should be
$77.
That's true, but $70 for like a game that's been out for however long seems a little high for me.
5 years.
I mean, at least like Rune Factory is a new game. Like it's coming out on the release date, so it's not like an old game that's getting re-released or whatever. So that's also pushing me higher in that direction. And at 8 and 9, we got Hitman at $60. I think John actually already bought it. But, that'll be something that we'll talk about next week. Yakuza 0, man, I love Yakuza 0. It's like one of my favorite Yakuza games. I put like 200 hours into that game. I really don't want to buy it again, Even though they say the Switch 2 version is the best version of Yakuza 0, and they have new cutscenes, and there's like a full-on multiplayer mode, but really, I put like 170 hours into the game. I don't want to like play it again. I wish it was any other. If it was any other Yakuza game, I would have bought it. I would be totally on it. But
like a dragon,
this is the one I actually beat. Yeah, I would get Like a Dragon. I kind of wished it was Kiwami 2 because I bought that on the cheap on PlayStation 4, but I barely touched it, so. But I mean, Yakuza 0 is like the starting point for the series. It's the prequel to all the other games, and Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are actually sequels to 0 because they did 0 and then they did remakes of 1 and 2 in the style of 0. So that's when those games came out. So having Kiwami come out before 0 was a little weird because there's actually like references to 0 within Kiwami, but whatever. I just hope people play it and they love it, so eventually we'll get the Pirate Majima game on there. So we could play that and all the other fucking Yakuza games that are out there. Infinite Wealth, whatever.
The man who forgot who he was.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that one I didn't want to play until I finished 5 and 6 because that's like, because those are all still in order with the Kiryu story and whatnot.
There's the one that's like feudal Japan or something.
No, that's was it Ishin?
Yeah, Ishin.
That's the
like
one
a
that's
dragon Ishin.
that one's in feudal Japan, and that's a PlayStation 2 game actually. That's a remake of a PS2 game as well. I have that game also, and it was cool, but I didn't play it for that long. But it was on sale a lot because these games are on sale a lot. Also, like if I really, I'm sure Yakuza 0 will end up being like $10 at some point, and I can just buy it again and just fuck around with the 60-player multiplayer stuff does sound fun to fuck around with, but not for $50. And of course, just to point the finger at Nintendo, I put the Welcome Tour at number 10, just because I wanted to have it at the very bottom, because I don't really care about that dumb game. I know it's only $10, but I don't know.
10 for 10. I think someone's got to buy it. Should be you.
I mean, I think John was planning on buying it, but it's like...
Okay, John should do it then.
I mean, sure, it's like demos and demonstrations, but I guess it's the same thing. But it should be, I don't know, it should be like free. I don't know. I don't want to throw $10 on it. Since
it should be free.
Since I'm already spending all this money on all these other games.
It should be like Astro's Playroom on the PS5. It should be free.
Yeah, exactly. And especially like, since it's like
that literally kind of did the same thing. Yeah. So, I mean, if they were trying to learn anything, they would just make it free. Or at least it should be free for like Switch Online members.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they're giving us the fucking upgrades for free.
But that's preaching to the choir because we know how the Switch 2 works if we're a member.
I mean, I guess I thought about I thought about putting obviously the GameCube games is like really high on my list, but I mean, I'm getting those. We're just getting them with the Nintendo Switch Online. Same with the Zelda games, or with the Zelda upgrades, the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom stuff. We're just automatically getting those, so I took them out of the list. But
well, I did not do the same, just because I don't think I'm as interested in most of the third party stuff.
You don't want to pay $70. You don't want to pay $70 for Cyberpunk, a game you already played like a year ago or something.
The game I paid $5 for.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. Completely like where there are a lot of things on this launch list. I would probably be picking more, but there is one thing I am different than you, and that's that I definitely want to get the Deltarune.
Oh, Deltarune, yeah.
Because I never did play the second part of that or whatever, or the second release, so I'm behind the times on that. So this will be even more.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just play through it all. I'll probably start back at the beginning and play everything that's on there. I'm definitely gonna get that.
And Deltarune's real cheap too, right? I think that's like $15 or $20 probably. So
that's my big indie one that I want to get. And then of course, everything else I really want to play is either I'm getting it already, like Mario Kart World. I'll be obsessed with that. And then I want to mess around with the Zelda thingies, but neither game is really like super important for me to replay at this point. Like,
yeah,
I beat both. But Xeno X. I just want to see the I want to see whatever performance upgrades there are, if any, because that's a game I just have to beat. I just gotta get that chip off my shoulder. What did I say in here? I said I have to shove that chip off my shoulder. Finally, I have to beat it because it's been in my vernacular for 10 years now of something that needs to be beaten. So that's a big one for me with the Switch 2. It's like I'll have Mario Kart World, and I'm probably going to be playing Xeno X all over again. Not starting from the beginning, but continuing from my Switch 2 save or my Switch 1 save, and hopefully
Yeah.
finally finishing it. And then I'll definitely play some Fortnite with y'all. If you're doing multiplayer, I will want to try that because I just want to see what's different about it on Switch 2 and
Yeah, I'm really interested in trying out the mouse control. Deltarune is $25 by the way on the price of it. It's 25 on Switch
I'll buy that.
2, which is not a bad deal. I just I wasn't that hot on Undertale.
Right.
Maybe because it was already spoiled to me, I guess, and I was trying to do like the pacifist run, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny and well written. I just didn't really like not killing people and not leveling up or whatever. I didn't like doing all the bullet hell fights or whatnot.
Right.
And I did actually like Deltarune Chapter 1. I did play that, and I liked it better than Undertale, but I don't know.
That's all I've played of Deltarune, so I kind of just want to get back into it and play all of them because I know Toby Fox has been hard at work on them, and it's really cool that we're getting it at Switch launch. I don't know, that feels very special.
It's a big deal to a lot of people.
Mhm.
It seems like so. I mean, so good for you.
I mean, Mario Kart World, that's going to be popular at my house. Shauna wants to play it. She's excited about it from what I've shown her, and I think it'll be something that'll be a fun one-player game and an online game. And yeah, it's going to be kind of the shining jewel of the Switch 2 for a hot second, I think.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the missions that you can find in the world.
Mhm.
Like, I really want to just drive around and find missions. And we were actually planning on having our number one Mario Kart fans, Robert and Caroline, over to play it like right after I get it. So
Nice.
we'll see what their thoughts are on it, because I don't think they weren't able to secure a pre-order. Robert's still not convinced that it's even coming out. I talked to him on Saturday, and he's like, are you sure it's not going to get delayed another 2 weeks? I'm like, I think it's coming out, dude. he's like, I don't know, man. You better call him. And I was like, well, I got to call him anyway to see if they're doing a midnight release or not. But I was
Maybe he knows someone in the legal department that we don't know about.
He wasn't convinced that Switch 2 was going to release on time. He thought it was still going to get knocked back. I don't know if you noticed this, but on the Nintendo website now, if you do it on your phone or on PC or whatever, it shows the game file size for both systems, which is pretty cool. It'll show there's the same, but it's like here's the game size for Switch 1 and Switch 2. They actually has them separated. And I
don't know why this is, but on the PS5, almost all PS5 versions are smaller than the PS4 versions, file size wise. I don't know why that is, but
weird.
I'd be interested in seeing that. It's probably has to do with compression and shit like that, but
maybe. I don't know. I just noticed that this week that they've started showing the file sizes of both of them. And if there's multiple releases, if you look up Rune Factory, it'll show all the different versions. It'll be Switch 1 version, Switch 2 version, Switch upgrade. It'll have all the different prices and all that right up front. So
that's
cool.
good. They need to be clear on their pricing strategy if people are going to embrace this.
Definitely. But yeah, I mean,
I'm really looking forward to the Switch 2, and probably everybody else in the world that's getting one on launch day. I just want to play Mario Kart World. That's it. It's the big one. Everything else is kind of icing on the cake, so to speak, until we start seeing those first party launch games that we can't play anywhere else. Or not launch games, those first party games, I should just say, that we can't play anywhere else.
Well, and this is a news part, but we did see that that Nintendo is going to be at Summer Game Fest, which I predicted that. But officially, they're going to be showing games at Summer Games Fest. So I figured we would see some new stuff since it's since the Switch is releasing on the same week, right? About or around there. It's close.
I mean, at that point, they've got to know there's been some leaks and stuff. They might as well just start showing their full hand.
For sure.
Well, did you want me to get into what I played this week? Because it's not a whole lot.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done with all my stuff.
I kept playing Blueprints even though I shouldn't have. But the reason I kept playing it is because it was a day or two after we recorded last week. I got back on it. I'm like, I don't want to play this because I'm just going to get glitched back to the beginning. And I went into a room I've gone into many times, and a safe I had to enter a combination code in to open was already open, and I had never seen that before in all of my playthroughs. So I was like, something's different with this. I think they gave an update file, but I don't know if they did. if they did, it's not in my like log or anything, but
Mm.
I just kept playing, and I'm like almost to day 180 all over again, and I'm back to having like three of the rooms open, the special rooms, and I'm basically back to where I was before it
Is
deleted.
is it still not
Before.
saving though?
That's what I'm saying. I think it is saving.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I think there was an update released, and the way I realized it was because that safe was open. That's the first time I'd ever seen that. It was
Oh,
an all
okay.
new like run of the day, and I went into that room and the safe. I didn't have to put in the combination; it was just open for me.
Yeah, I would think that they would want to get on that quick and fix that shit. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, once if you have that big of a bug, where it's like you were saying, where you could like delete your game even, and then it wasn't even deleted, and it was back to the other save. Like, that's a pretty fucking big ass bug in a game. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, especially with them being like a smaller studio. I mean, I'm just saying that I would want to get on, try to fix that as quick as I could.
Hmm. Well, I don't know if it's fixed or not. I'm kind of having faith that I can keep playing, but um, yeah, I've still been chipping away at that game, and I actually went out of town this weekend for Memorial Day as well, so I was not playing much games. But Shauna rented a house on a lake, and we had a bunch of friends because usually there's this music festival that she goes to every year, and it was like not happening this year for whatever reason. I think they rescheduled it or something, but um, as a result, like everybody was like, "Well, what are we gonna do that weekend? We always like meet together." So Shauna like got everyone together, and we had a really cool time at yeah, basically a house on a lake Airbnb that she took care of renting, and it was wonderful. We camped outside and had campfires, and I painted a picture, and I don't know, just had a lot of good time. We didn't really get in the water; it was too cold for that, sadly. But some people got out on the paddle boats and went around the little lake, but I stayed out of the water.
What lake was it?
It's just like a pond lake thingy,
Oh, it's not
kind of
like.
near Kickapoo State Park in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
It's more. It would probably be technically considered a pond, but it's a lake. It's a pond. Whatever.
I mean, Kickapoo's by like Peoria, right? I mean, that's where.
No, I'm thinking of Kickapoo and central east central Illinois. It's a state park where I'm like, around where I'm from.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I was just wondering because Kickapoo, like the town of Kickapoo, is
Mhm.
is by like my mom's house, which is
There's a
like
lot of things in
which is like
Illinois that are
west
called
of
Kickapoo.
west of Peoria. I wasn't sure if
Mhm.
it was if it
Mhm.
had anything to do with that. Kickapoo is like tiny as fuck. It's like a 4-way stop and that's it.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Sean and I are from around the same area of Illinois, and it was near the state park there, but also like just a kind of yeah, it's kind of like a big pond that they take care of. They have like a thingy to aerate it and stuff, so it doesn't get really scummy, and it's nice. But yeah, we hung out there for the weekend, and while I was there, I actually played a little bit of Blueprints
You had
by remote play because they had
you had
a Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi.
signal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't play for very long. I mean, I played like through one day, but it was kind of cool that I could boot up my PS5 from home from where I was and play a little bit of it. But it was a good time, and it was like a much needed like recuperation and touch grass kind of moment for me. So that's what I did this weekend.
I haven't played I haven't played my PS4 in remote play in a very very long time. It's been months. Well, also
Yeah.
I disconnected it from the modem, so I couldn't do it anyway. But because we were having issues with our TV,
Uh-huh.
connecting to the internet, so I just hardwired the TV to the modem, and now it works better. But I got another cord. I just haven't reconnected it yet. So, but and also I have this. I got this like phone case that's really hard to take off of my phone. So that's probably another reason that I haven't done it.
Case in point.
I thought about doing it just because of Last of Us 2. Like I haven't watched any of the episodes because I wanted to play the game first.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I should try to play that like while I'm on one of these shoots or something like that. But I didn't get around to it because I have Last of Us 2. I bought it for like $8 when it was on sale.
Uh-huh.
When Last of Us 1, the TV show, was out, they had everything on sale, so I bought it for real cheap. And I haven't played any of it, even though I hear it's depressing.
Well,
Depressing as
I'll tell
fuck.
you what happens at the end of the current, like the second season right now. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I know what happens in the game. I mean, that's actually why we haven't watched it yet, because just didn't want to watch it once they found out what happens in season 2. I
managed to keep it secret from Sean.
I was trying to be like, don't look, but I think they saw it through like social media and was like, I don't want to watch that. And I was like, okay, well, they're like, well, you can watch it without me. And I was like, well, if you don't want to watch it, then I'm just going to wait till I play the game, and then I'll watch it, and then I'll watch it after I play the game, which will be in like 6 years or something. But that game came out in like 2020, like when everybody was already pretty fucking depressed. So I mean, I'm aware, but I think I think it's different, a little different in the game. But I want to play it in the game before I see it, how they do it on the show.
Fair enough.
But I'm aware.
It's like reading the book before you see the movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically all I got. Why don't we take a quick break, and then I'll come back with the special segment I have about my top 10 Switch 1 roguelikes.
Yeah, you want to do your roguelikes on the second part? All right, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we'll take a break and come back.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go! And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
Anyway, we're back from the break. What about your top 5 best rogue games on Switch?
Top 5? I thought this was top 10, but I could just do top 5, actually. It's fine.
You can do 10. If you got 10, do it. If you got it,
no,
lay it out there.
I got to do 10.
I did 5 for fighting games, but we also had Shake here to do his 5 as well, so we did kind of have a 10.
Never mind. I'm just going to do 5 because
I figured we would both do it. But no, do 10. Do whatever you want. This is your show. You do it.
Yeah, I came up with 10 roguelikes because I became a huge fan of roguelikes this generation, and I did not know that I would like them. In fact, I remember hearing about them and thinking it just sounded like the dumbest thing. One of the earliest ones I remember hearing about was Toe Jam and Earl. I guess that's a roguelike.
Oh yeah. Is
I
it?
remember reading about it
I
and
barely
stuff.
barely played those games.
But then the more I read about roguelikes, the more I see like references to all these like old PC RPGs and stuff, and just stuff that didn't really interest me. But there was a huge resurgence in it, especially like in the indie community. And I think where it really grabbed hold of me, first and foremost, was what's going to be my number one. So I can't say it, but I'm going to start at number 10.
Sure.
Number 10 is a little game called Loop Hero. I played a bit of this. I didn't play a
Loop
lot
Hero?
of it. Yeah, it's called Loop Hero.
Yeah, I remember that one. It's on sale a lot, and I never bought it, but I know people like it.
It's a Devolver Digital game. Well, they published it, but it's a game where your character kind of moves along a loop, as it says, and then you have the ability to kind of plot out what the loop's going to be based off the landscape. So it's kind of like a top-down view, like it's a very like old school looking, like almost NES or SNES pixel art, and your hero moves like along a preset path, and then you get to kind of influence buffs and stuff as they move along to fight various bosses automatically or various enemies automatically. And yeah, I mean, I didn't play a lot of it, but it is definitely like a deck builder. Because you're collecting cards based on how well your hero does, and there's obviously a lot of deeper elements to it. I didn't play it enough, but I think it's a great game, and like you said, it's on sale a lot. I think it's a great place to start for like a really kind of simplistic deck builder / roguelike that's got depth to it.
It's $15 on the regular, which is already pretty cheap. But yeah, I've seen it cheaper. But yeah, its regular price is $14.99, so can't complain with that.
You'll find I'm going to talk more about the ones I've played more.
Well, sure, yeah.
Number 10, I didn't play as much. All right, number 9 is called Cult of the Lamb. This game was very popular.
Oh yeah, I played that
2
one.
years ago.
I actually did really like that game, even though I kind of had a hard time with the whatever combat, but it was a cool game.
This is another one I haven't played that much, but it's a roguelike where you're like going into dungeons and stuff. But one cool thing about it is it has this kind of almost Animal Crossing like social sim element to it, where you're basically building a cult. Like you've actually got like a an actual like compound where all your animals live, and you kind of go around and talk to them, and because they are animals like Animal Crossing, and you influence their thoughts, and you kind of like get them to like spread ideas and stuff, and it's really deep. Like I didn't play enough of it to really get into it, but basically you can like tell one person something, and then they'll like spread that idea, or if you like fail to say something right to someone when they talk to you, they'll like start spreading doubt about you as a cult leader. And it's a really interesting thing to have as a like an overarching theme for the actual like gameplay of the dungeon. Like you've got this cult that you're maintaining in the meantime.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. There was like a free trial of it. I tried it through NSO, and it was on. Most of the time, whenever there's a trial of a game, they have it on sale also. And I liked it so much that I ended up buying it, and I played a good amount of it. And yeah, there's some twisted stuff in there. You can basically feed shit to all of your people.
Yeah.
And you can convince them that that's okay to do, but they will get sick from doing that. So you can't do it for so long. But there's like consequences for everything. And then there was like free DLC where you could end up like fucking your animal friends as well. But I didn't play that.
Wow, no, I didn't know that was.
They added some sex in there from what I heard, in one of the latest DLCs. But
it kind of makes sense because even though it's like from the perspective of a cult, it is kind of there is a bit of a relationship simulator thing going on in a really twisted way.
And you can you can punish people for like going against you, or and you can make them like work extra for you. There's like different things you can do to try to like maintain your power over everyone. But I really really like the sim stuff of it. As far as like the dungeon stuff, I didn't like it very much. I mean, I just thought I was really bad at it, but I saw other people were not so hot on the combat, so I guess it wasn't just me, because I just kept getting stuck in the dungeons.
I probably should have reviewed it a bit more before I mentioned it, but like I played it a couple years ago when it first came out. I downloaded it. I think it may have been on sale by the time I did, but I found it very captivating. It's some twisted stuff, but with like really cute animals, and I don't know, that's kind of an indie theme also. Like I don't know, it's kind of like a trope in indie games that you can do a lot of violence if the characters are cute, but
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not as gruesome if
this
it's
game's twisted,
less realistic or something, right?
right? But the actual like I don't know, the psychological things in it are absolutely insidious, and I don't know. I think it's worth playing if you want to play something really dark, and it's a roguelike, so it fits the bill. I did want to say up top that part of there's some controversy on the internet when I was looking this up. There will be some things on here that maybe people would disagree with because one of the elements of a roguelike a lot of people stick to is that the levels have to be randomly generated each time. But
Don't you
I
have
don't
to
think
start with nothing too? I guess.
well, starting with nothing I think is more important.
Because
how I
Cult
feel.
of the Lamb, like you don't lose everything if you die in the dungeons. You don't lose your stuff and all that.
But each time you go into the dungeon, it's like laid out differently.
Yeah,
Well, some games aren't like that, but they'll change like the layout of the enemies. So it's like in a way the dungeon is being changed, but the actual like geometry may not be. Which
Sure.
some would argue if the geometry is not changed, that's not a roguelike. But I don't agree with that. I think there's way too many other factors you can push into something to make it a roguelike. And that's why so moving on, what was it? Cult of the Lamb, and then I'm going down to this was a bit of a stretch, but it's definitely a roguelike. It's the caves in Stardew Valley. Those
Oh
change
yeah.
every time you play them, and everything you do in the actual game can affect how well you do in the caves, as far as like what you grow and in basically like the power ups and stuff and the weapons and everything you bring down with you are all a result of like what you do in the gameplay of the game itself. So that's your like permanent upgrades. But when you actually go into the caves, you can only go so far, and I think in the original cave, it'll save like every 5 floors or something where you can go back to the 5th floor. And you're not actually like getting stuff back. You're just like starting the roguelike thing a little deeper into the dungeon. But each level is still randomly generated. And when you get to the skull caves, you don't have quite as much. Uh, as far as I know, with the skull caves, you have to start over each time. And correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but maybe maybe it's just larger gaps that you can start at as far as the floors you go down. But I think the skull cave is like the ultimate roguelike cave, or the ultimate roguelike dungeon in Stardew Valley, from what I hear. So I haven't gotten all the way through the skull cave. I feel bad about that. I should have as a Stardew Valley fan, but I kind of stayed away from the caves. They were just a place to gather resources, but there's more to them and more that they can offer you if you finish them within the game itself. So yeah, there's a lot of depth to the caves, as they say. Waiting for laughter, pausing for laughter, pausing for laughter. Okay, next.
I really don't remember the Skull Caves. I mean, it's been a long time since I played Stardew Valley, but
So the skull cave is where you go. So you've got the cave that's part of your geometry up at like the top part of the map that you can go to at night, or you can go to whenever you want.
yeah, no, I know the caves. I went there a lot, but I mean,
But the skull cave you access
is that where
through
you
getting.
don't you get a thing at the end of it if you get there? I mean, obviously you get a
Well,
thing.
you
at
get
the
a
end of all of
key.
them.
You get the skull key at the bottom of the first set of mines. So you have to get all the way to like down to level 100 or whatever. Then that's how you're able to access the skull cave, which is in the desert. You have to take the bus to the desert, and then the
Oh
skull
yeah,
cave's there, and you have to have the key to get into the cave, and then it's just way harder,
yeah.
way more ruthless, way more to lose if you fail.
I remember that one, and I really didn't like it, so I didn't do a whole lot with it
But it's totally roguelike
because it
It's
was
on
hard.
the Switch.
Because it was definitely hard. But yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the desert stuff was always just kind of a pain to get there, and I felt like I was never like properly prepared for that cave because yeah, it was extra hard compared to the other one.
Here's something a little more contemporary. In fact, Trey bought this for me recently. It's the Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I thought that might be in there somewhere.
I want to get back to it. I kind of fell off of it, but
You could play
it's
that on
definitely
your Switch too. Also, maybe it'll have
Yeah,
mouse
that's true.
mode. I'm surprised there isn't a mouse mode for Splatoon or something like that. You know, maybe it'll get announced later.
Splatoon 4.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, in Splatoon 3, or rather, this was DLC for Splatoon 3 that just came out this past year. Came out in 2024. And it's definitely a roguelike. It presents itself as a roguelike. You're going up a tower, which is like, as you'll see, is a huge theme. Either you're going down or you're going up to a specific location, and you have to get through several floors of things that are randomly generated. In this case, it's like randomly generated trials, but it seems the trials are fairly consistent as you play them. They're just like little Splatoon mini games. Think of like the different capture the flag, or like covering territory, or gathering a certain amount of items or whatever. But you have a limited amount of like deaths and stuff. So if you get splatted, you lose a life, and eventually you lose all your lives, and you have to start all over again. But there are certain like perks you can get as you get further along, and I mean it's a roguelike through and through. It's just in the Splatoon vein, but I would argue that the levels are not randomly generated. The enemies can be, though, and kind of how the layout goes. That's why I think this is still, even though the level geometry is not different, the layout of the obstacles is, and I think that still makes it randomly generated, right? I would say.
Sure.
And also, like, depending on what trial you choose on what floor, it'll be harder. It'll be like a different version of it that's a harder version. So, yeah, it's something that I want to get back to. I was having a lot of fun with it, but it was also one of those games where, like every other roguelike, where I would just kind of like space out up to a certain point when the challenge would actually begin. So there's like, it just felt like there's a lot of wasted time, like just getting through those first 5 floors or whatever that I could beat every time because I knew the levels so well and knew exactly what they were throwing at me. But, that's also just skill developing, and that's a huge part of the joy of roguelikes, that you get better every time you play them. All right, we're moving on to number 6, Slay the Spire. It's a very popular game. People still play the shit out of this game. I played a lot of it, but it's one of those games that I kind of stopped playing. So Slay the Spire is definitely a roguelike. It's a deck builder, and you have like, you can kind of pick whoever your character is you're going up to the top with, and they've got different like abilities and stuff and different weaknesses and stuff. So it's definitely an RPG in that sense, that you kind of have a class that you're going with, and you unlock new classes, and you can kind of do more and more. I didn't get super duper far in this game, but I did see the same boss a few times. Like, and I think the end bosses at each level were different, but I never finished this. But if you play it enough, you'll see the same bosses multiple times. You'll see the enemies, but the layout will be different every time. And like the actual cards you're dealt with, just because of the randomosity of RNG, you'll get different cards. So, as I recall, you would also get like certain things, like the enemies could use powers against you that would make you have cards in your deck that were useless, but you would still have to use. So they would like not attack, but they would take away your moves. So it's all about like having good cards, and you can actually upgrade your cards as you go and collect new cards. But remember, the enemies are also going to throw bad cards at you that you're forced to use. I don't know how better to explain Slay the Spire. I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but it really is climbing a spire, slaying everything on the way up.
I have that game too. I didn't had a hard time getting into it, but I do have it because it was on sale again. I know a lot of people really like it. I think I just died a lot. That's me with roguelikes. I just die a lot, and then I get frustrated and play something else for a lot of them.
But I totally could have just done a top 5, because this is where I really get into the games that I put a lot of time into and that I know so well because I played them so much. Number 5 is something that's very common on the podcast. I think we all played it. I think, Trey, you might have gotten more into it than John. You might have, for a second there, got into it more than me. I don't remember. But it's a little game called Vampire Survivors.
Oh, yeah. I like that game a lot.
It's totally a roguelike. This is a game that I was reading. It kind of inspired me, like, given the preclusion, like, that some people say, like, the levels have to be randomly generated. Because in Vampire Survivors, the levels are the same every time.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, but they just move things around. They move the power-ups around. They move the enemies around. but you're kind of still dealing with the same waves of things. But this was a really cool game, and I highly recommend anyone listening to this look up. I can't remember. God, I feel terrible. I can't remember who they are, but they did There's a documentary about slave or about about vampire survivors on YouTube that you got to look up, and it's interviewing this guy, the Spanish guy who worked on gambling games, like gambling, like actual like gambling, like slot machines and stuff, and like coming out with different games and stuff, coming out with the graphics that would keep people playing. And he just had this little side project he was working on in the meantime, which was Vampire Survivors, and he made it with, like a content, like a pack that he bought for, I don't know if it was Unreal Engine, it was some game maker kind of software, but he paid for the sprites and stuff like as a part of a character pack, and he made this game, and it's so fun. Like all you have to do is move. You have to hit a button occasionally, but really all you're doing is moving, and you're just strategically moving and getting upgrades, and you're getting like money, and you're getting you're like choosing what powers you want to upgrade, and eventually getting like these massive like powers, and you're just wiping the screen with enemies. And it really, like, not just because of the graphics, which are hugely Castlevania inspired, but it has a very Symphony of the Night feel of like towards the end of the game when you're just like overpowered. You get that very early on in this game, and as a result, this game is just so fun. And it came out on everything, and it was really cheap too, like $5, I think.
Yeah, it's $4.99 right now. Was it No Clip? Were they the ones who did it?
Yes, it was the No Clip documentary. You're right.
Yeah.
So the No Clip documentary on Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. This guy literally moved from Spain to like I think London to work in a game studio, but couldn't get hired right away. So he worked at like a McDonald's for a while, but he used like working at McDonald's to like learn his English. I just think that's so cool, like getting a fast food job and like learning another language through that. And I found, I don't know, I highly respect him for that. That's how much effort he put into making this game happen, that he knew he had to get somewhere else to a different studio, and he had to learn English in the process. And because of that, like that was his vision, and he did that, and the vision became a reality. And that game like was just a huge indie success, like one of the biggest indie successes of the whole Switch's life, I would say. Like, man, that game just was everywhere. People still talk about it. They've had so many upgrades and so many crossovers, and they've crossed over into so many other franchises. And
they have Saga on there now. They have the fucking Saga games, the weird ass Saga games. Or that I didn't play that, but there was like a free DLC apparently where you could do Saga stuff in there. I mean, I haven't tried Vampire Survivors out in a while, but I mean,
it's changed a lot.
It's a great game, but yeah, no, I didn't even try.
I
didn't even try the Castlevania stuff, which apparently that was good too.
Just absolutely a wonderful game. You can play it anywhere, but hell yeah, you can play it on the Switch One, and it's where I definitely played it the most because I loved having an actual control pad to play it. I said early on when I first talked about it on the show, when I was playing it on Steam, I was like, "This game's amazing," and I had it on both my computer and my laptop. But I was like, I just wish I could use a D-pad. And I could have hooked up a D-pad, but when it came out on Switch, I was all over it just because I could use my Switch Pro controller to play it. And then, I don't know if anyone who's a longtime listener would remember, I actually like reprogrammed my controller so that I could just use one hand to play it, so I could pet my cats while I play it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're very.
I was like, this is a game that I can play and pet my cats at the same time, where they are getting their attention and I'm getting my video gaming at the same time, and what a wonderful combination. So Vampire Survivors, I highly recommend. All right, moving on to number 4. Perhaps one of my favorite games of the whole generation. Why is it 4? It's just because the other 3 are so important to me. This is Peglin.
Oh, Peglin. Yeah, forgot about that one.
Fucking Peglin. I think this came out like 2 years ago.
It was last year, actually.
Was it last year?
It's a
roguelike, Peggle-like RPG.
Just still plays it on the phone.
It's so good. It's such a good game. instead of upgrading your character, you're upgrading like your projectiles that you use to play like basically a Peggle. The rules are a little different, but you're playing Peggle. There's a lot of randomosity to once you release that ball from the top, but there's so many different type of balls, and you can like upgrade them, and you can like get rid of ones that are in your inventory that aren't so good, and you can shuffle them around, and you can skip them, and there's just a lot of depth to how it works. On top of actually having certain upgrades where you can change how the bumpers themselves operate. In the meantime, you're actually on the top screen. You are a goblin going through a fight, and you're fighting enemies, and it kind of goes from like, the enemy. It's a side-scrolling view, and you're fighting them, and you're trying to get rid of all their hit points, but different attacks will either go through an enemy or they'll skip over an enemy, and there's a lot of depth to it. I can't recommend Peglin enough. Like, it's such a good game, and the further you get into it, and the more you like upgrade your projectiles, you just get so much fun out of it, and you'll have these runs where you're just like, you'll shoot one ball and you'll defeat the whole level in one time. You'll just be like, oh my god, I'm so powerful. You're just a little goblin guy. He's just a cute little goblin. And there's a couple other playable characters, but for the most part, I mean, it's just Peggle with RPG elements added on top, and it's fantastic. I don't know how this sort of genre could have been done any better. I would say maybe it could be a little flashier, but that's okay. It's not flashy like Peggle is, but it's still really cool.
I do kind of wish it had a little bit more levels to it, like because
that's true. It only has 3 sets of levels.
Yeah, I beat this a few times. I mean, I didn't unlock all the stuff, but I kind of wish it had more. And like you get to like the dragon, like the gold dragon, and you don't even get to keep any of your gold and use it because it's the end. It's like, come on. Even if you beat it, you get a shit ton of gold, but you can't do anything with it.
That is true, but the gold only really matters mostly to the run you're on. So
I know,
I get
but
that.
I mean, it'd be cool if there was another level to do where you could actually use some of it, though. Because you're like, I'm getting so much gold, but you can't do anything with it.
There are certain things in it where you can like skip ahead or go back. There's like little warps and stuff, which are cool, and there's also ways where you can like upgrade everything at once, which is so cool. If you'll just randomly find these things that'll just make you like super powerful all at once. But you do kind of have like, it's a roguelike in the sense that the levels are thrown at you randomly, and you sort of get to choose based on the end. Like, think about it, at the end of a level in Peggle, where you like try to get into whatever the goal is that's the highest points as your final move. And that determines what direction your avatar moves on the map at the end. So yeah, it's a cool game, man. It's so good. I love this game. Peglin is like one of the best indie games I've played ever, probably. And you would think it would be higher on this list, but it's not. Number 3, game that I still think about on a regular basis, Inscription.
Oh, yeah.
I talked a lot about Pony Island back in the day when I played it on Steam and how much I love that game. This is the same developer who made Inscription, and Inscription is a card building roguelike, but it's also kind of an escape room because someone's got you captive and you need to get out. But then the game like flips genres a little bit, and it flips like graphical styles and everything. And it's all super meta because that's the way this creator's games work. But the boss you're fighting at the end ends up, spoilers. The boss you're fighting at the very beginning ends up being one of your allies at the end of the game to help you get through it. So it's that kind of game. Your captor becomes your savior in a way, and that's so weird. But this game just does everything it can to like fuck with your head and like break the fourth wall. Like, you're just kind of like playing a D&D campaign with somebody based on these like card rules, but then the cards are talking to you and they're telling you to do or not do certain things, and then you can actually stand up from the table and walk around and find other things in the actual like 3D world that can affect how things go on the table. And then at a certain point you're like, okay, well, this must be the end of the game, and then it just totally changes. It becomes something else. And in the meantime, you get this like literal like video, it's actual video of the guy who discovered the game and like how it's affecting his life, that he found this like floppy disk like buried in the dirt in the woods one day, and he put it into his computer. And he also just happens to be like an influencer who opens packs of like magic cards. They don't call them magic cards, but he's like opening packs of magic cards on stream for people. That's kind of what he does. What's he called? The lucky carder or something like that is what he's called. But this guy ends up like getting involved in this crazy like shadow conspiracy from this company that made this game that actually like affected the real world, and they needed to like get it under wraps, and somehow that disc leaked and he found it. And man, it's so good. It's so twisted and strange and not at all like you think it's going to be when you start playing it. But I've played through it 4 or 5 times, like no joke, beginning to end. I love it. I will play it again probably on the Switch too if it comes out. I don't know. I'll just play my copy on the Switch too, I guess.
Yeah, it's out. You just transfer it,
But yeah, number 2, I won't even talk about it a lot. Balatro. I just got to say Balatro.
For 2.
Anyway, I don't need to say much else about Balatro. Balatro is just a game I talked about a lot on the podcast. It's still very, very much an element of pop culture gaming. People still talk about it. You still see memes about it. So, Balatro. You can play that on Switch.
It's cards. Use cards.
It's cards.
Yeah.
Famously, the guy who made it didn't understand poker that well, but somehow he made like the ultimate poker roguelike. All right, number 1 is the one that started it all, and the one that's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive when it releases in its sequel form, which is Hades.
Oh yeah, Hades. Yeah, well, I mean, I should be surprised if that's number 1. But yeah, Hades 2 having a console exclusive is definitely a big deal.
Yeah, this game's great. It's a true roguelike in that all the people that would disagree with some of the choices I made would still say, I think they would still say Hades is a roguelike. They might say a roguelite being things where you can take it into future runs, but this game actually uses the roguelike structure of the game to build the story, and it does it in a really compelling way that no other game has ever done for me before. And you get to meet the whole pantheon of the Greek gods, and yeah, you meet the whole pantheon of the Greek gods, and you befriend some, and some become your enemies, and a lot of that has to do with each subsequent run. But you can actually talk to certain tertiary characters between scenes as they become characters that you can donate certain stuff to and gain other benefits. But there's just a whole really complicated series of like buffs you can get, not to mention different weapons you can use to run through mode, like to do your run. Like you get different rewards for finishing with different weapons that are available from the get-go. I think there's like 7 you can choose from, and certain ones are easier to get through the game with than others, but they all have wildly different control styles and different perks and stuff you can get with them as you go through. And that includes like the gods you befriend on the way and what they give you as a result and how they punish you also. But really good game, full voice acting. People got horny for these characters because they were so well drawn. Whatever they say, like you get thirsty for Zagreus or whatever, like people were doing. Yeah, that was a real thing with this game. A lot of people just really connected with it, myself included. Not to that extent where I was writing fan fiction, but it's a strong enough story that it's happened. And I think another big part of it is just that it's such an established mythology, and so many of us just know that from learning it in school, that you take those gods, the Greek pantheon, that are a bunch of extremely powerful people that are just people that fuck up all the time. And those being your sort of upgrades is kind of fun because they're really catty. They don't like each other. They don't like you if you don't praise them right, you know? It's just, it just adds a lot of depth to the game in the sense that everything you're dealing with is just a bunch of really crotchety old humans that are set in their ways and have their own view of how things should be. And those are the Greek pantheon. You can even find like you know, what's his name? The guy that pushes the rock up the hill. God damn, I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
But you can become friends with the rock itself. Like the rock can be one of your friends. His name's Boldy.
I was say, and not Dwayne Johnson, the different one.
No, the rock that is pushed up the hill by not Orpheus. Is it Orpheus? I can't remember. The guy who pushes the rock up the hill eternally as a punishment from the gods. He's there with the rock, and he can be your friend. And as are many other Greek characters, including
Sisyphus.
who you find Sisyphus. It's Sisyphus, yes. But you can also find, you know, you can find out who your mom actually is in this game, because Zagreus is a very angry young man who wants to leave Hades, and that's the whole point of the game. Is he's trying to get out of Hades because he hates it here and he hates his dad, who is Hades. But on the way, he ends up finding out who his mom is, and that ends up being somewhat, you know, somewhat like canonical to how the Greek pantheon works. But I don't want to spoil anything for everyone. You should check it out. It's a great game. It's been out for like 5 years now, I think.
Yeah, it's been out for a bit.
But it came out on the Switch as its first like console release, and we're getting that with 2 as well. 2's been in like a pre-release for a while now, and a lot of people have played it, but
Yeah, early access.
I haven't touched it yet. Early access, yeah. I haven't touched it yet, but I am excited to play it on Switch 2. I think that's going to be the home for Hades 2 for me. But I consider that to be my favorite of the roguelikes on Switch 1. Number 1!
Yeah, almost 5 years. September of 2020. It was a 2020 game. I couldn't remember if it was before or after that. Yeah, we were in the shit.
We really were.
We were in the pandemic shit. Well, yeah, that was a good roguelite list there. Thanks for doing that. But yeah, let's talk about the news.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
I didn't get a chance to check it out. I really wanted to. But apparently some Targets are getting Switch 2s. I've seen them around. I really wanted to stop by a Target, but last couple days I've been getting off super late, and I just don't want to go anywhere after I'm done working. So I've not gone yet because I wanted to be like, hey, I saw something at Target. But I guess I saw John put some stuff on Slack, just stuff, signs that said, under construction or whatever. They're switching all their displays over to Switch 2, because we're a week away. Why not? As far as other Switch 2 news, there is some pretty big stuff that happened, like at least some release dates that I put on here. Pokemon Pizza, Pokemon ZA, has a release date now. It's coming out mid-October instead of November, which is probably the first time a Pokemon game has come out in October. At least not this is a mainline one, I guess, since it's a Legends one, but middle of October. We have Pokemon at middle of October, and we also got a release date for Dragon Quest 1 and 2 for end of October. So October's going to be loaded with some RPGs there.
And that's the HD 2D remix.
Yes. They got an official release date, which is October 30th for Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake, which means I got to get back to getting through 3. I think I stopped on that because I heard it got really hard at the end. I kind of chickened out, I guess. But I didn't even get to where it was hard. It was still fine, I guess, where I was at. But
I feel bad I never even bought it. Like, I need to play it because
it's pretty.
I stopped playing 3 on the Switch.
To play that version
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I stopped playing it because I was like, I'll wait till that version comes out.
And we already have it, but Dragon Quest 11 is like $20 right now. So if anybody, it's on sale for $20. So if anybody has not played that game, fucking buy it, because $20 is worth it. I put over 200 hours into that game, and $20 a no-brainer if you like RPGs at all. Get it. I would.
And the version on Switch, subsequently it's been released like as the like upgraded version or whatever. But when
It has,
first came
but-
out on Switch,
but
it was
yeah.
the best version.
Yeah, originally it was a combination of the 3DS version and the PlayStation 4 version, and I thought they did a really good job of doing that. And you could play it in 2D if you wanted, and it had all the extra Street Pass stuff as well, from the 3DS game. It's really good. I haven't ironed out my ultimate top 10 Switch 1 games, but Dragon Quest XI is 100% going to be in the top 5 there. That's for sure.
Spoilers.
It's a really, really good game, and it played the shit out of it in the pandemic and really helped us get through that, I think. And it's got an 8-hour demo for anybody who forgot. You could play it a lot on there. Also, they announced that there's a Pokemon Presents happening at the end of July, so we'll see more stuff about Pokemon ZA Pizza, whatever you want to call it then. And it's getting, it's going to be a $10 upgrade or whatever from the Switch version. I'm wondering if you can use your whatever they're called, the vouchers, because I still have a voucher that I haven't used on anything. And I was hoping I could use it on like fucking Metroid Prime whenever the fuck that comes out. That's what I was waiting on it for, but maybe I can use it on Legends if Metroid Prime 4 never comes out. I don't know. But yeah, maybe I can use it and then pay $10 to upgrade it to Switch 2 or something like that. That was my plan for Metroid Prime 4. But yeah, I mean, that makes me a little bit more excited for Pokemon Pizza or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably definitely get it. I don't know. I mean, I'm really interested to see how much how much it looks better on Switch 2 and all that. So we will see. The Ease versus Trails fighting game, which is actually kind of looks a little bit like Power Stone. I wouldn't say it's like fighting games like Street Fighter, but it's more top-down stuff. That doesn't. It didn't really necessarily get a release date. It says summer now, but we got a little bit more information about it. It was a PlayStation Portable game. I'm really interested in playing it, obviously, because who doesn't want to play a fighting game with all the Ease characters in there? It'd be fun. Ease versus Trails, and it's Falcom, so it's gonna have the best soundtrack of all time. So it'd be worth checking out. And that weird Pac-Man game that I am not really interested in, but it got they showed up at the Game Awards or whatever. That has a release date for July 18th. So if anybody cares about that game, the one that like looks kind of like a Metroidvania, but Pac-Man's your buddy or whatever. I don't know.
And he like eats everyone in a really gruesome way.
Yeah, it looks kind of stupid.
It's like Bayonetta's hair.
Yeah. There's a new updated list of games that are going to run on Switch 2 or not or whatever. I think the big thing to take away from it is most of the video apps are not working. So they just have to re-release them or just never re-release them. I don't know. I mean, the big ones are like Hulu and Crunchyroll are saying will not work on Switch. Just re-release.
Who needs anything besides YouTube?
Re-release it, I guess. I mean, there's like... there was other, there's other weird ones on there, like what was it, like Nico Nico? Do you remember that one? The Japanese like YouTube one with all the comments. I remember using that like at the very beginning,
where the comments would show up on the video itself
of this, of the Switch Life. The Nico Nico Abima. I don't know what that is. Inky Pen was like it was like the comics, but I think it was manga and in a different language and all that. But whatever. There's a bunch of stuff on there that's getting updates to run with Switch 2. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's getting graphical upgrades, but Doom Eternal is in there, which I didn't really like that game, but it's on there. I want an upgrade for Doom 2016, or I want Doom the Dark Ages to be on Switch, because that game looks cool. And it's on PS4 and Xbox X,
or the new Colossus.
So it could be on there. Let's see, what else is on here? Oh yeah, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is going to be at the IGN Live event, which is happening the same week as the Switch 2 release. So I think there's a good chance that we're going to see an announcement that Sonic Racing Cross Worlds will be on Switch 2 also. Because I don't think it actually has a release date yet, but I mean, it's already announced to be on Switch 1, and Sega already is throwing a lot of love towards Switch, with the we got the Raidu game, we got the Yakuza 0, they're re-releasing Sonic X Generations. You got the Puyo Puyo 2S game, which I don't know anybody who wants that game, but it's out there. There's a lot of stuff coming from Sega, so we'll probably get that as well, I think. I hope so. I mean, I thought the game looked really cool, and I'd be happy to play it on a more powerful system than Switch 1, so whatever. We got more Game Boy games on Switch, on Nintendo Switch Online. I haven't played any of these, but I think the most interesting thing is Survival Kids, the original Survival Kids for Game Boy Color is on Nintendo Switch Online. So if you cared at all, you could get that and not get the $70 version or whatever that's going to be on Switch.
Do you want to play crafting on the Game Boy Color? Because it's like Minecraft before Minecraft in that regard.
It is, yeah. Actually, I mean, some people kind of like the original one, and I mean, at least it kind of has an art style to it. Like the new one kind of looks a little more generic. And we got the Gradius game on Game Boy also. I always played Nemesis on Game Boy. Still not available on here. Kirby Star Stacker, another puzzle game that's on there too. I never really played that one, but it's on there. And there's what's the fourth one's a weird RPG thing. The Sword of Hope. And Sword of Hope also from Capcom. It totally looks like a dungeon crawler type thing. It's got a little tiny picture in the corner of where you're at or whatever.
Capcom did the Shadowgate games, right?
Possibly.
And did like
that
Deja Vu.
That sounds like a thing they could have done. Capcom still puts out like a shit ton of games on like they still put out like new RPGs and stuff on Switch. Like they always look kind of cool, but I'm like, oh, don't do that. Yeah, Capcom was Shadowgate. You're right there. I found it. And I think aside from that, we could talk about this big thing that I was never able to talk about before. So I don't know, a few months ago this year, I was on a video game focus group involving a game, that I signed an NDA or whatever to not talk about. And I just found out today that the game has been canceled completely, and they've actually gotten rid of the developer group also as well. And
they've all been fired.
Yeah, so EA has let everybody go and canceled the game. And it kind of sucks because I was pretty excited about the game. So I would, it was I forget, it doesn't matter. The focus group, it was a thing. They send you stuff and ask you about it. But it was a Marvel game, and I think I got in because I had pretty good knowledge of Marvel comics and all that sort of thing. And it's a Black Panther game, is what it was. But it was like a third person action RPG element type thing, And what I thought was really intriguing about it is you're going to have a bunch of different characters that you play as, and they all have their own stories, and they're all under 10 hours. And they basically showed us concept art. Like, we didn't actually see any of the actual game. They showed us the beginning of the game, through concept art and that sort of thing, and asked us about how we thought about the characters. One of the main characters was Black Panther, T'Challa, and Storm, Aurora Monroe from the X-Men. They had a kid. So you have Black Panther powers mixed with Storm powers, with weather powers and all that, which is really cool. And that was one of the ones you could pick. And it starts off with you and this other lady, you're competing to become the next Black Panther. So you choose which side you want on that. But then all of a sudden you find out that most of Wakanda is Skrulls. There's been Skrulls imitating Wakandans and all that. And then shit hits the fan. And it's where the fuck is the real Black Panther at? We don't know. So the idea was that you go through these shorter stories with all these different characters, and you unlock more characters as you go. And they towards the end of the focus group, they showed us that there are more characters to be, and you could play as Killmonger. If anybody doesn't remember from the Black Panther movie, Killmonger is Michael B. Jordan's character, who is the villain. And once I saw Killmonger with 2 fucking shotguns, I was like, I want to be Killmonger. I want to be that guy. That's going to be awesome. And they asked you, who do you want to play as now? I'm like, I want to play as Killmonger. They're like, why? And I'm like, because I want to play as the bad guy. I saw him. He was mentioned in the opening cutscene, with the concept art and all that. But I didn't know that you could actually be him. But then they were talking about the possibility of where, what if you had to play through the base characters to get to Killmonger? And I was like, well, I'd be into that too. That'd be fine, because now give me reason to play the other stuff to get to the character I actually want to play as. Whereas if I play a Killmonger first and he has the best story, I'm not going to want to play as anybody else. But I thought it was really intriguing. It was supposed to come out for PS4 and Xbox Series X and at the time, the Switch 2 was not announced yet when we did the whole thing. So I mean, they said it could be a possibility, but they knew nothing about it, and there wasn't even the trailer yet at that time. So, but I expected it probably would have been a Switch 2 game, and I just liked the idea of it. And they kind of like at the end of the focus group, they kind of alluded that you would get to Black Panther eventually, and I'm like, well, what's going to happen? I was like, what's going to happen when you beat all the different character storylines? Well, when you beat everybody's storylines, then you get to be Black Panther, and you get to see what happened to Black Panther and where he was in this like Skrull takeover or whatever. And I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a really cool idea, and I was super intrigued by it. So I was planning on getting it whenever it came out, but it was completely canned by EA, so I guess they didn't care. And this isn't the first-person shooter one with Captain America in it, which I saw a lot of people being worried that it was that one. That's a different game. But after I saw the focus group, I actually looked it up, and I did find that some information had gone out about it. But I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to get in trouble. But now the game doesn't exist anymore, so there you go. There's my info about that EA game that did not happen. But I thought it sounded really cool. I wonder if anybody. I wonder if anyone from the focus group is on a podcast and they're talking about it. I don't think so. I didn't see any information like that I had heard out there on the internet. Who knows if anybody will actually find their way to our show to hear it, but,
They might.
But I like the idea of, like, playing a bunch of different, where you get to see a bunch of different viewpoints of the same story, and you get to see different parts, like, from various characters. And it's supposed to be, like, not as long, where, like, maybe they're, like, 8-hour segments, and then together they'll be, like, 50 hours or something like that. Like, I thought that was a cool idea. And, I like games based in the Marvel Universe and all that. We haven't really seen, like, Wakanda, like, that far in depth and whatnot. So, I mean, I was behind it. But it got canned, so it sucks. Yeah, and they laid off everybody who was on it, so sorry to all of you. It was a good idea. I wish it would have came out, but whatever. But I guess what we can end with, which is like a total like, what the fuck, is so there's an Elden Ring movie coming officially from fucking A24. I guess I like have to see it, right? Because I like most of their movies, but
it'll be at the Alamo.
So like A24 is everything's at the Alamo, but A24 is a movie company that's is pretty well respected by me and Jess, and most of the time, they have good movies, and we watched that Y2K movie, and it was a lot of fun. The A24 movie, it was good. But no, I mean
the one with Kyle from SNL did.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch SNL. It had the lady in there who was in the Snow White movie that bombed. Okay. She's in it. That's all I know. But yeah, it was fun. It was like what if Y2K actually happened? Was the horror movie of it, and it was a good time. It was a lot of fun like 90s jokes and that sort of thing. But I like A24. They've had a lot of really really good movies come out, and it's just kind of just like blows my mind. So A24 producing an Elden Ring movie from fucking Alex Garland. I don't know if you know who Alex Garland is, but he's the guy who wrote and directed
The Beach,
Deus Ex Machina, the one, the movie with what's his face in there?
It's just Ex Machina,
just Ex Machina. But no, he did Ex Machina. He did Men also, which was really good. We saw that in the theater, and he also did Civil War like last year, like with the fucking media people who cover like the country and everybody's divided. And he's got another fucking movie coming out after that. But it's just like it seems like such a random person to direct Elden Ring. I don't know. Maybe he's a big fan. He's like writing and directing it. But yeah, no, what was it? Oscar Isaac was in it. The Ex Machina movie, which I thought was really good. I liked Men too. I thought they were both great.
I looked this guy up just because you said what the fuck in the notes, and I was like, what the fuck? And I couldn't quite find it. I thought maybe it was probably based on the movies or whatever that he did, but his grandfather, Peter Medawar, won the Nobel Prize for biology.
Oh, okay.
And is considered like his research is considered crucial in like dealing with like rejection of organ transplants and how to do them properly where they don't get rejected. Like, probably millions of lives have been saved from his grandfather's like research. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And he's going to do the Elden Ring movie, which is all about like grafting and stuff. Elden Ring's all about like grafting body parts and like onto yourself and stuff. It's so weird.
Apparently he did actually work on a couple of games. He co-wrote Enslaved Odyssey to the West, which was actually a pretty good PS3 game. I played it, and I remember it looked really good and it had a decent story. So, and I guess he was involved on one of the later Devil May Cry games. So he has like dabbled in video games before. So, yeah, but no, I mean, have you seen Ex Machina? I mean, you should.
I have not.
Say, give that a look, and then and then tell me what you think. Watch Ex Machina and Men, and then come back and tell me your notes on that. I thought Men was really cool, but I wasn't a huge fan of Civil War, but it's also kind of incredibly depressing and hard to finish. But you know,
it's like a dystopian. Oh, I see here, a dystopian based on like misinformation and stuff leading to a civil war.
pretty much, it's like what if we started murdering each other over like our thoughts on politics or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like it's told from like the viewpoint of like the media, you know, where they're like they get to cover everyone and they and like people let them like film them while they're shooting people or whatever. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah. It came out last year and it was a hard one. It was a hard one to watch, but and now he's got another one coming out this year called Warfare, so there's more war stuff. But I just would have never, if you would have asked me who was going to direct an Elden Ring movie, I just would have never guessed that. That was
I'm telling you, the tie is about his his grandfather figuring out how to keep organs from being rejected, like because Elden Ring is all about grafting other body parts onto, like a lot of the big bads in that game are like grafting the people they kill onto themselves to make themselves more powerful.
I mean,
fun stuff.
I mean, I'm not really huge on video game movies, but I don't know. Alex Garland and A24 on Elden Ring, I think I kind of maybe have to see it. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. It just was kind of like, what?
And George R. Martin is like a producer.
He's a producer on it. Yeah, he is on the credits, but I don't think he's on it for writing, as far as I saw.
Yeah,
I saw him producing it, but he does have some sort of involvement in there. So there you go. But yeah, that's going to be something. I mean, from you being an Elden Ring fan, does it make you interested in seeing it?
Yeah, I'll see it. Oh, I definitely want to see it.
You should watch some of Alex Garland's movies. I'm sure they're on HBO Max or something. You could probably find.
I hear it like when you watch it, like you can like in the theater, like once they get to the campfire, you can leave and come back later on and watch it, and you'll start at the campfire.
Just bring your giant finger sword with you or something, but don't block the people behind you.
And don't let the dung eater put his seed in you.
Oh, interactive. Anyway, I think that's good for this episode. Thanks everybody for sticking around this long. If you did, and if you like hearing us and you want to support us, go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast, and you can find at least 72 episodes right now. There'll be a 73rd one up there soon enough. I'm not sure when, so I'm not going to say when it'll be out there. But if you're on the $5 feed, you can see the video version of it right now. So go check that out. But yeah, there's plenty of extra episodes on there and all sorts of good stuff on Patreon. And you can help out the show and all that sort of thing. And you can also find us on Blue Sky at NintenDomain podcast and at Trey Johnson and at Jereme Domain. And you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast or twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast as well. Find it all out there. And whatnot. And we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
I'm Jerry Mikowski.
And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
See ya on the Switch too. After next week.
See ya, Den Ring. Written by Alex Garland.
Oh. Things are rough over here.
Yeah. Seems like it. Sorry.
It's all good. I'm just trying to like have my segment, and my cats don't want me to do it.
Yeah, you were at number 1. You were almost there.
The universe doesn't want me to do it.
You're almost there.
Sorry about the editing you're gonna have to do.
Well, I mean, there's just a lot of blank space that I'll cut out. It's like my favorite Taylor Swift song. You know, we'll just go right through it.